you would like to make a new thumbnail where I can talk about getting that is more appropriate for you, go ahead, but I don't give a single shit what the thumbnail is. I didn't want this to ever be content in the first place. This is the hardest thing I think I've ever had to talk about on a live stream.
This is absolutely shady behavior from Xanderhall.
My ex mentally, emotionally, and sexually abused me.
Oh my god, dude. This is going to be an utter mess, isn't it? I can tell already.
I'm sure many of you are familiar with who Wop Goblin is. Sending information to Wop Goblin through DMs in order to send harassment towards me online.
Yo, okay. Oh, what a little snake. Okay, so that is massive. This is literally the worst possible outcome for Xanderhall.
This is in fact a two-parter. We have perhaps for the first time ever, that I've done at least, a double whammy Uno Reverso review. So, following these allegations getting recirculated off the back of a Xanderhall retweet, okay, Keffals then went live to respond to the allegations in a stream titled, "I shit you not, I was raped." That was the title of the stream. And I briefly looked at it yesterday. I don't really like reviewing stuff live. I prefer to do it after the fact anyway. But when I looked at it, I thought it was some joke or some meme. And I was like, yeah, I don't even know why Keffals is going to bother replying to this. There's nothing to it. And then I, did something else. But I soon found out that no, that was not a meme. And apparently there are some allegations that are levied within this stream. Also, who's got the screenshot of the original title? It was honest. That's why I thought it was all a meme. It was crazy. It looked like a crazy, what the fuck? You're saying you're raped and there's a picture of, that. What on earth? I'm sure someone in Discord has got it. Yeah. Well, maybe they changed it. I've not checked yet. We'll look in a sec. It is an Uno Reverso situation, and without even I've not watched it. I'm doing a Deathly Hallows. This is the Avengers. We've just done Infinity War. Now we're doing Endgame. Okay. The Avengers Infinity Rape, followed by Avengers Rape Game. That's the thumbnail. God, I thought it was a screenshot of it. That's the thumbnail of the video. Originally, it was titled, "I was raped." I was raped. Do you see why I thought it was a joke? I thought it was a joke. I was like, okay, this is some meme or something. I don't know what's going on. But no, it's not a joke. It's not a meme. In this stream, they talk about it, which I guess we're going to get to. It's just so extreme. It's like, oh, someone's made dubious allegations of abuse. Well, guess what? I was raped. Whoa, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, there we go. So they've changed the title now to "I was Ard," basically. Thank you. So anyway, Keffals has done Uno Reverso situation. They apparently now have got allegations on the reverse of this claim. So I'm not sure what we're going to see. I've not watched this. I've watched a minute of it. What is the transition between this, though? Let's have a look.
Cut my tits off, feels like nobody listens. I can't deny it, feels like shit to wanna cut. Won't have a clit, I wish that I could have some tits inside my ass is where they sit.
In the biz, that is what we're going to call an awkward tonal shift, I believe is the official terminology for what we just witnessed there. Bear in mind, okay, the experience that you're going to have if you're clicking into this stream, okay? This is what you're clicking. You're clicking on this, click, and this is what you're going to be delivered into.
I didn't want it to be content. I didn't want,
Okay, here we go.
but I have to talk about a lot of stuff
Oh, brother.
that I didn't ever want to talk about this. I didn't want it to be content. I didn't want to
Well,
have to make it go public.
it's a, it's a bit too late for that now, I'm afraid. I'm here.
And my hand
so
got forced.
we're just going to watch
because
it.
if I don't address it, it is going to linger. And it's fucked. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say about it. It's so incredibly fucked up. I put everything together so I can just go from point to point talking about all this. So
Why not title the stream responding to the allegations? I mean, I can't speak for Keffals' decision to title it I Was Raped. For me personally, titling your stream I Was Raped in response to some allegation circulating around you is an absolutely solid gold comedy move. And, you know, I think I'm going to take note of that for the future.
because this is a really
It
really
goes
for me
hard.
to
It goes
discuss
hard,
this.
yeah.
I had nightmares. I didn't sleep.
What on earth is going on? I think I need to speed this up a bit.
Yeah. I keep seeing people say, I think the thumbnail is maybe not the right choice. It's my default thumbnail. If you would like to make a new thumbnail where I can talk about getting raped that is more appropriate for you, go ahead, but I don't give a single shit what the thumbnail is. I didn't want this to ever be content in the first place, but I need to address it.
What is going on? This is mental.
The rumor mill.
This is wild. Can you make me a better thumbnail for my rape, please? What the? I'm losing it over here. I mean, it's a fairly reasonable criticism that your thumbnail is you in a kind of somewhat sexualized fashion when you're talking about getting raped. I mean, it's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? Also, are you sure you want to ask for that? I mean, Jesus Christ, what on earth? What Pandora's box are you opening by asking for that? Jesus.
Has already started, and unless I put out my side of everything that happened, people are going to just fucking tear me apart. So this is so fucked up. You should be allowed to deal with this on your own time. I wish that was true. I really do wish that was true, but that's not true. I have just been like staring into space the last 2 hours thinking about how I could how to even address all of this. And I'm going to try my best.
Well, in fairness, Chud, you do have a gaming intro for rape content. Yes, but that is the... Okay. Do you even understand comedy? Really? You must understand the point of that, right? The point is the absurdity of it. That's the joke. The joke is I've got some insane gaming intro to what should be a topic you should deal with some level of, respect, reverent. I'm being irreverent. That's my whole thing. Okay. Fuck me. Stop making me explain jokes. I feel like I'm explaining a magic trick.
If I pause at any moment, if I need to if I need to take spaces
also
in between what...
Listen, Keffals is getting money here. Where's mine? I don't even have 100k in a GoFundMe. Let's fucking go. Don't be shy, guys. Get your fucking wallets out. Let's get this fucking hype train going.
I'm saying in order to get through it all, I hope that you can all have patience with me so I can get through it. And
I need a
then
Lagoon
once I
Fund.
cover all of this information is out there, and I don't need to talk about it again, and I'm just gonna move on with my life.
I need facial feminization surgery stats.
I never wanted to talk about this. I've never talked about this
come on.
publicly.
Come on, be serious. Be serious.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just... If
What is going on?
this is your first time watching one of these streams, it's not usually like this. This is the hardest thing I think I've ever had to talk about on a live stream. And I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, fuck.
It's fine. You know, we'll get to it, I guess. We might have to skip some of this, though, if it's not actually getting into the meat of it.
Yeah, I'm taking it one step at a time. I'm hoping that now that the stream actually
Well,
started...
the thing I wanted to say at some point, which I'll just throw in here now, is why? Like, it's fine to respond to, like, allegations, but to then spin up a whole stream titled, I was raped, it just seems excessive to me. I think you can address it. Like, this feels very melodramatic to me as a response to allegations which are not even substantive. Like, there's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. It is just an allegation of abuse without any merit or proof. So yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah, this kind of melodrama. I don't know if I'm really into watching every second of this unless it's relevant to the matter at hand. But let's skip ahead. This looks like when they get into it a bit more substantively. So
this is what I wanted to address.
also, that is a good point, actually. Okay, okay. Mean Zoe, sometimes you make some good points. I think one thing to bear in mind is maybe we're looking at this from our perspective, right? Like, I'm sure there's an element of overplaying it. Don't get me wrong, but like these allegations on the lefty side of the aisle, even if they're not substantive, can potentially really fuck you. Yeah, sure. So putting out a strong defense. You know, I think back to my allegations, and it's like at the time it felt super like, oh my God. But I look back at it now and I laugh about it because I'm like, who fucking cares? You know, it's funny. It's funny. Ha ha ha. Unlucky. You didn't get me, did you? You didn't fucking catch me. Better luck next time. But at the time when you're in it, you feel very kind of like, oh my God, like the whole world is fucking closing in around you. So is there an element that's overacted? Sure, probably. But there probably is like a genuine concern that they've got to address some allegations that have cropped up about them, right? I'll turn them up a bit more, though. Oh, oh no. Wait, is it playing for you?
Apparently, I accidentally muted myself.
Oh, okay.
So I'll repeat.
Okay.
I'll repeat what I was saying. Xanderhall retweeted this, a tweet by Sundays. It says, I mean, I don't support her because her ex came out with claims of abuse, and Keffals avoided mentioning the allegations at all, and let her diehard fans...
As I said earlier, which is probably going to be a separate YouTube video, this is absolutely shitty, shady behavior from Xanderhall. No matter what you think of the situation, the fact that Xanderhall, the guy that loses his fucking shit if someone even dares refer to his situation as a sex cult, which, by the way, I agree, Thought Slime and all those freaks were totally wrong in how they handled the Xandor stuff, right? But he would lose his shit if this happened to him. If someone was retweeting someone talking about him having a sex cult, he would go ballistic over that. But yet, here he is doing the same to Keffals because he's a vindictive, spiteful little fuckhead who doesn't actually have any fucking principles. And more than likely, he saw someone pushing some allegations against Keffals and thought, here we go. Let's go. Well, let's fucking go. It is the most shameful display of wretchedness that I've seen probably in some time from that side of the sphere. And that's saying something because it's full of absolute fucking cretins. But yeah, if this happened to Xanderhall and someone was retweeting someone talking about his thing, he would lose his shit. And I do not believe that before he, pushed this out there, that he made any effort to substantively check the nature of these allegations, right? I reckon he probably just saw it and was like, haha, fuck you, right? Pathetic. And I just work more so with the principle for me that even if you hate someone, even if someone would cheer on you getting cancelled over some allegations, at least you can take some pleasure in them getting some shit. That's fine. But you should still do your due diligence as you normally would in regards to whatever claims happen. This idea that changes and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, just signal boost this without checking it. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. And I would be I do not believe for 1 second that he's checked it. But if he did, I do not believe that Xanderhall would genuinely believe that these abuse allegations have got any fucking legs to stand on. And on top of that as well, there's literally no fucking evidence here of this fans bullying narrative. I've not seen any evidence to show this. I think the only part of this that I can accept as true is the idea that Keffals probably did avoid talking about it. Because I've not really heard about this before yesterday. Oh, hey, Extreme Dad, how's it going? Extreme Dad, I used you as an example yesterday of basically the consequence of holding on to people doing bad things to you. Because it's totally twisted your brain, hasn't it? Let's be real. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Hope you've moved on. Right, let's continue.
Bully her ex into silence, but that's a different story. And the reason that I don't talk about my ex is that over the course of several years, my ex mentally, emotionally, and sexually abused me. And I never wanted to talk about it.
Oh,
I have very actively avoided talking about it. I have nightmares about this stuff.
Oh, no. Okay.
This shit is just fucking cruel.
So now, basically, we have entered... This is the Uno Reverso that I was referring to earlier. This is the Uno Reverso that I was talking about earlier. We now have got complete and utter Uno Reverso, she said, calamity. Unless there's something substantive shown here, we are going to be in a quagmire of, allegation against allegation. Yeah, you abused me. You raped me. Fucking hell, man. What a mess. What an absolute mess. Crazy.
And before Xan decided to bring this into our space, the only people who pushed this were tankies and woke scolds who no one...
An abused DMZ. Oh my god, dude. This is going to be an utter mess, isn't it? I can tell already. It's going to be impossible to pick this apart.
No one trusts, no one believes in what they have to say, and I never felt like I needed to address it. But when I saw this last night, I realized that I had to address this. Because if I didn't address this, my silence would be read as guilt. So now, I have to go over some of the most fucked up things that have ever happened in my life.
Oh my...
Because Xanderhall wanted to win internet points against me by signal boosting unsubstantiated rumors.
The thing is, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. Like, as I say, I think Xanderhall was real fucking shitty to retweet this, but did anyone see this? The first time that I heard about these allegations were I saw that Keffals did a stream called I Was Raped. I clicked on it, and I saw the allegations on the screen. You can see it happen live yesterday. You can watch it go down. I had no idea about this. I am blocked quite extensively by a lot of leftoids on Twitter. So it could be maybe for that reason. I did not fucking see this or hear about this. And if there's big drama popping off from the lefty sphere, normally there's some tweets I see about it which kind of clue me in a little bit. So I don't think this is just I don't think she did have to do any of this. I think that it's likely she probably could have just ignored it and it would have gone away. I think addressing it is fine, and that's probably a good thing to do. But it feels like an extreme reaction to do a stream called I Was Raped and go into all the fucking shitty aspects of your relationship, particularly bearing in mind that the original allegation was not even that fucking substantive. So I've got a kind of suspicion here that this could potentially just be a kind of sympathy play. Because I don't see the logical reason that you would need to go into the fucking weeds, digging up all the shitty parts of your relationship. Where? Like, where is it that everyone is talking about this? I've not seen that. Has anyone else seen that? Maybe I'm just blocked by too many people. This was not a big line of discourse that I saw popping off. It was literally off the back of Keffals' stream that I heard about it.
How did he learn nothing from what happened with DJ Mule? The reason everyone hated DJ Mule was because DJ Mule was doing abuse apologia. That's why people hated DJ Mule, and this is what this is. So, I'm gonna go over all of this. And then unless I'm forced to, I'm never addressing this again.
Well, that's a good idea. That's the first good idea.
So, Jesus Christ. I'm sure many of you are familiar with who Wop Goblin is.
Give me a fucking break, will you? Come on. Listen, okay? I know I do the rate review thing, and I do the intro. I do try and deal with these things like in a fairly sensitive way. I make jokes about it, and I'm a bit irreverent. I do try and deal with it sensibly. But then you've got, like, I'm sure you've all heard of Wap Goblin. Bro, come on. I'm not made of stone. If you're going to say, do you know who Wap Goblin is? I'm going to laugh because it's funny. Okay? Will you cover the gay sex tape? I spoke about it a bit earlier. Beyond watching it on fucking Discord only stream, I don't really know what else I can do or say about it.
The first time I saw all of this come out into public was Wop Goblin tweeting, Keffals' former partner, the same one she was with when they were swatted, came out about how Keffals was an abusive partner who pushed them into homelessness.
What's going on? Is this real or not?
I'm gonna go over.
Are these emotional, like, peaks real? Is it because I'm autistic? I don't know. I'm like, it seems overblown and overacted, but is it real? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Fake. I think it's overacting, personally. I don't think it's completely fake. Like, there obviously are going to be traumas and stuff associated with this, but God, it's uncanny valley for me, personally.
All of these tweets. There was a follow-up to that. More evidence, including handwritten notes and texts, highlighting Keffals' abuse towards her former partner. This all goes back to the Mary Sue article believe it or not. The one that called me a white supremacist because I said noodles are tasty.
Oh, yeah. The noodles are tasty drama. The noodles were tasty. Do you remember that? That was funny. This is what I'm talking about, though. All these people that were pushing these bullshit stories about Keffals. Why? Why focus on the noodles are tasty shit? So stupid.
I wish I was making that up, but there are so many people who are hell-bent on taking me down. So this is blood.
Also, you notice there as well, you know, as I've said, I think these allegations against Keffals here are bullshit. There's nothing to them. But when you attack people over bullshit reasons, you do give them ammunition with which to deflect if something serious did come out. Because you can make the point there, like, look at all these people attacking me for no reason. So it's funny how this kind of leftoid tendency to go totally overboard at the most, you know, stupid things which are totally worthless and not worth talking about actually hurts themselves, because then you allow people to maybe give themselves cover if something serious did come out, because you've spent all your time crying about white supremacy because Keffals one time said, oh, noodles are tasty. It was about that, the cultural appropriation argument. A white woman wrote a book about how to cook noodles, and some Asian SJW freak came out and was like, oh no, this is bad, oh terrible, white woman noodles. And, you know, they got mocked. Anyway, that's the long and the short of it.
Blood is a former moderator in my community. And Blood replied to this. I was one of her longtime mods who ignored so much because we were traumatized by Kiwi freaks. But I think you'd love to know her entire team chose to keep that Discord active while children were being actively doxxed. I was the only one who spoke up, and it led to me being yeeted.
Children were getting doxxed? What? What?
Back then, we did an entire risk assessment of the old Discord server. We found that less than 0.3% of users have been doxxed. We instituted a system to keep people out as much as we could and to protect the community as much as we could. And while this isn't related to most of what I wanted to talk about today, I felt that it was important to address this as well. To just address all of the lies. Blood continued on the same thread and said, I'm bitter that Clara, a person I considered to be a friend, broke bread with a man who shared our doxing thread to his chat. My tenure as a Keffals mod is the very reason I became and remain an active Kiwi target in the first place. And this is...
Yeah, oh dear. I heard about this, I heard about that person getting doxed on Kiwi farms. Oh. Ooh, terrible business. Damn. Was very sorry to read about. I read that news with, I was shaking my head the entire time to make sure that everyone knew I disagreed with this Nilissa person getting doxed, okay?
Blood posting a screenshot from the Kiwi Farms, I forgot the name of the app. The app that a lot of Nazis use. Telegram? Telegram. I think it's Telegram. More people use it than just Nazis, but this was from the Kiwi Farms Telegram, where Joshua Moon posted Blood saying they spent months on end obsessively talking about us, and I still have intensively violent fantasies about unaliving Joshua Moon as a result.
Ooh. Not the best tweet, to be honest. I mean, you know, you want to talk about odds of who's going to do what? I mean, I think you know what I'm trying to get at here, okay?
There was a reply to this. What is this supposed to prove? This is just Kiwi Farms complaining about being taken down and then being brought back up again. Just say, I don't like Vosh, and I'm bitter that a streamer that I'm parasocially attached to is friends with him. It's really easy. And I need to remind everyone that to this day, Kiwi Farms hates my fucking guts. This was from a couple days ago. This is Joshua Moon's Twitter account. He's active. He's on Twitter. He's tagging me. He is instigating harassment against me. It never ended. It never came to an end. And
okay, so here's the thing. I would agree that Keffals got like an insane amount of attention and stuff and all. I agree that like I said earlier, I've got no doubt that the situation put a lot of stress and pressure on her, and it led to some of these issues. But like, I feel like this is missing out a big chunk of the story, okay, in which Keffals instigated a campaign which not only attacked Kiwi farms, it attacked service providers for Kiwi farms, and undermined the entire concept of the internet, the entire concept of free speech on the internet. That sounds extreme. But I promise you, it is not extreme. That is if anything, I'm underselling it, right? Because the whole point of the Drop Kiwi Farms thing was that they didn't just go after the site, they went after service providers that were essential to keep the site up and running, okay? Now, Kiwi Farms has obviously been up and down and all this other stuff. I think it's up at the moment. But it's plagued with issues now because this has started this snowball effect where now if there's a service provider that is assisting Kiwi Farms in some way, I don't think Keffals is even directly involved anymore, but the kind of the freaks that have been put on this campaign against Kiwi Farms target every single angle they can. And recently, that fucking, what are they called? Liz Fong Jones, is that the name? They recently won a lawsuit for defamation in Australia or New Zealand because a service provider was helping Kiwi Farms remain up. We looked at the article about it the other day. So, yeah. Do I think that what happened to Keffals was excessive and extreme? Yeah, obviously, the hotel bedsheet stuff and the pizzas and whatever. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened, right? And the swatting originally that happened shouldn't have happened. But also what shouldn't have happened is it shouldn't have turned into this entire fucking campaign to remove Kiwi Farms from the internet because you didn't like the content that was hosted on there. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's kind of insane. And also, obviously, the other thing to bear in mind too is some of the stuff that like Kiwi Farms was said to be responsible for wasn't responsible. There's another website that was also involved, which is, I believe some of the things that happened, they were responsible for, not even necessarily Kiwi Farms was responsible for all of it. So yeah, I hate it when people talk about this and they only tell one side of the story. There was this big campaign against Kiwi Farms. I think that was wrong. I think Kiwi Farms, regardless of how bad you think the content is on there, should be able to exist on the internet. And the fact that now there's this question mark over the ability of people to target service providers to get websites taken down, like that is a massive black hole of potential issues that have now been opened up. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Pandora's box is open, and who knows what's going to happen in the future.
The only reason I don't talk about it is because even if the site is completely dead forever, they're still going to be around and they will hate me until my dying breath. And I simply want to move on with my life. And bringing up Kiwi Farms as some sort of gotcha is victim blaming. This is where my ex comes in. I need a second. There's so much fucked up stuff that happens that I can't talk about it. I can't. It just makes things worse for me. I can't talk about shit. Okay.
Fucking hell.
So,
It's too much for me, man. Jesus Christ.
let's keep going. So Blood said, it's not a parasocial relationship. Clara called me up when she was on a coke bender and told me the plans she was making to kill herself earlier this year. This is true. I did do that.
The thing is like, you know, I'm more interested in the actual allegations, which I thought were going to be a meme, but they weren't. I mean, I'll listen to it all, but I you know, in fairness, in all of this, the last thing that really needs to be responded to are these allegations of abuse, because they're totally worthless, they're pointless. I don't know. And then we're going to get to a rape allegation in reverse. I guess I'll just play it out and we'll see what happens.
Was scared and I was reaching out to anyone that I thought could help. And she said, I was making plans to be at her wedding last year that was supposed to happen before she and that partner had a falling out. And my ex, Althea, replied, as the ex-partner in question, I'd like to point out that the falling out was being left homeless by Clara after the swatting while she lived in a luxury apartment. I was abused and traumatized enough that I let her push me into homelessness. She lost it on me because I tried to write down her abusive words so she couldn't deny it later. And Althea wrote, I'm the only one who's ever reasonable, bitch. Shut up. You have terrible abandonment issues. I can't say anything without making you cry.
Oh.
Then someone replies to Althea, I would like to see Clara's response to this because I have never heard about this. I don't want to deny this if this really happened.
See, look, this is the mentality. God, I tell you what. We saw it recently with the Sophie from Mars stuff. Keffals is in a kind of advantageous position in that she's not so closely associated with the insane cancel freaks that she can't defend herself. So she's able to stand up for herself a little bit. But with the Sophie from Mars thing, that Sophie person is totally like involved in that whole crowd. So Sophie had no choice but to throw the hands up and go, yep, you got me. Right? Fortunately, Keffals can, you know, stand up for themselves and has got a big enough kind of audience that like her, not too closely associated, you know, that she's able to kind of push back a bit on this. But it is one thing I just will say is these kind of allegations on the left can destroy you. They can absolutely wreck you because on the left, they don't have any critical thinking skills. They just hear abuse and that Pavlovian fucking response. They start salivating at the thought that they're going to be able to go fuck some new person's fucking life up. So, you know, it is more dangerous when these kind of allegations drop against you when you're like a lefty, I think.
And Althea responds, of course you never heard about it. Why would she share that with her audience? Here's Clara saying that I treat her like she's an abuser, but having nothing to say about her calling me abusive names. And I'm going to read all of the texts. These are all real. So the blue is Althea. The gray is me. I told her, I know you don't want to go back to York Street, so I'm thinking of staying the night at my mom's. This isn't healthy. We need more space. For reference, York Street is the street that our apartment was on. That was the apartment that got swatted. And Althea responds to this. Can we not just try to talk to each other kindly and do what we meant to do? I'm sorry if I sounded condescending and hurt you. I really never meant to. But we have things we need to get done if we can be bigger than that. And I responded to her, you won't even acknowledge what you did to upset me, and then wouldn't let me decompress when I got mad.
I'm trying to find a President Sunday tweet. What the? Dude, there's no way. When I first listen, it was so crazy. When I first saw this, I thought it was I thought someone had mocked it up. I thought someone had like mocked a thumbnail because it was so absurd. But no, it's true. It was real, and now we're in it.
And I snapped. And it's not fair because I was shitty to you, but I asked you to stop so I could calm down. I'm the bad person here because you don't respect my boundaries, and I despise that. For context, not respecting my boundaries meant waking me up by yanking the blankets off the bed and screaming at me. And it also meant getting into a yelling match with me because I didn't want to have sex.
Oh, what?
That is what I meant when I said respecting my boundaries.
Okay. That's a great story, but that's a lot. That is a lot to fucking accept off the back of very slim context, man. Come on. Could be true, possibly, maybe, but fuck me, man. That is a fucking lot. That is a lot to take on off of a single sliver of text message. My boundaries, because when I read, it didn't even enter my. The boundaries being referred to for me were just you were waking me up when I asked you not to and trying to have a conversation. So yeah, I'm extremely skeptical. Beyond seeing more evidence, I'm exceptionally skeptical of this idea that boundary thing refers to all of this other context. Yeah. I do not believe without some sort of evidence, some message or some other context that would prove it. That is way too much to accept as true off the back of just a single kind of line of text.
Althea. Althea responded to this. I'm sorry, I'm really am having a hard time understanding what I did to offend you to start. I was a little confused about if your name or your position of self-employed would be applicable. Yeah, I gotta take a minute. This is legitimately the hardest thing I have ever had to talk about on stream, and I didn't want to. But I know how these things go, that if I didn't address all of this, and because Xander Hall boosted it, people would ask questions, and if I didn't talk about it and I didn't respond, the rumors would keep circulating.
Yeah, it feels like this allegation is getting weaponized by both sides, essentially. So Xander Hall retweeted it because he's malicious. He's a malicious little wretch that wanted more ammunition to shit on Keffals with. And now it feels like Keffals is taking it and is weaponizing it now against Xander Hall to say, oh, look, he signal boosted this. And despite the fact that, as far as I could see, I don't think that anyone was talking about this. I didn't see any public discourse about this. If I'm wrong on that, I will happily take the L. But the first time I saw about this was Keffals talking about it. So it feels like it was, what is this? Oh, because I was talking about how this is like we're doing Infinity War and then Endgame. We're in the end game now. We're in the end rape now. Okay, anyway, come on. Yeah, that's true. New guy's got a point. It could be, what it could be, in fairness, a lot of these people have got me blocked. Maybe people that have got me blocked were talking about it. Maybe it was circulating behind the scenes. Maybe there was some pressure that we're not privy to, or maybe they were getting contacted about it. So yeah, it's possible. I mean, I just think back to my situation, and yeah, I got like bombarded with DMs from every fucking angle asking me about it. So it's possible that they did receive messages that we're not privy to that would show that there was more pressure than maybe we can see. I just personally find it odd. I do have a note now. I just personally find it odd that there wasn't a single slither of conversation that I could see about this on Twitter. It was literally dead. And I've got people that are mutuals that I follow, whatever, and they're more kind of involved in this space. So normally I would see them talking about it. But anyway, willing to, leave it at that.
This was after the swatting when we were in a hotel room together. When I said, I know you don't want to go back to York Street, it's because I was begging them not to follow me. Because the people who were swatting me weren't going after my ex, they were going after me. And they would not leave. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna be okay. The
What is Jesus, man? This is like pure chance. This has popped up, I guess. But look, my latest message on the Telegram. There's a triple threat causing problems. The Onion will continue to be the best way to access kiwi farms. The Onion. Tor. Ooh. Paid complainers. There's a Discord of people who are paid to complain to our service provider. Is that true? They're upstreams and they're upstreams. This reduces our pool of providers to only those who are KF tolerant. That's crazy, man. That is fucking... This is the problem as well, right? Is it's one thing to have an issue with a website and to make a complaint about it even, right? But this is like an utterly disgusting gaming of the system to the point where you're paying people to make complaints to meet your criteria. DDoS, yeah, I've heard about there's a DDoS attack going on. I don't have any idea who's doing it, but some of the guys are trying to extort me. This reduces our providers to only those who are extremely DDoS resilient. Cogent is actively monitoring our records, blackholing IPs, and applying pressure to any ISP downstream of them. Who are Cogent? Jesus, man. People don't see this though. Well, the problem is twofold. One is people are not going to see this. Oh, one of the big tier 1 ISPs. Jesus. People are not going to see this. And those that do see it hate kiwi farms. So they're not going to care. They're not willing to put aside their hatred in order to just go, okay, well, let's think about this beyond my own personal view about this. What are the wider implications of this? The wider implication is that if enough people get upset with you, they can target your website and get it taken down, even though it's legally permissible in the United States. That's crazy. You've got listen, even if you don't, you must put that to one side to see how dangerous this is. It's sickening. It is, yes, I was about to say, Silent, it is sickening. It is sickening that you can go around the legal process to target it in this way. God, it is fucked up, man. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah. I was saying yesterday, that for me is the worst thing in all of this. The 100k is really shitty, and I've got a problem with it personally because of the GoFundMe shit, but that pales in comparison to what's happening with the Kiwi Farm stuff. And at this point, you know, I don't have that much care about a bunch of transes giving money to Keffals. I still have a problem with it, but like that's like a side thing. That's like the main thing is the Kiwi Farms thing and the fact that it's now got this sustained ongoing attack against it as a result of all of this.
X is apparently aware of the stream now. I don't care.
Also, if someone said it's capitalism, no, it is not capitalism, right? It is taking advantage of the incentives that exist under capitalism in order to get an outcome that you want. When you're paying people to make complaints, right? Obviously, the idea there is completely subsume a company with complaints, so they take action so that they don't fucking get in trouble publicly for it and stuff like that, right? That's what happened with the Cloudflare thing as well, in terms of they put out a statement staunchly defending its position, but then they managed to find a narrative that was convincing enough that Cloudflare didn't want the public backlash from, you know, and they were like, no, we're not going to do it anymore. That's how this fucking works.
She can say what she wants, but that's fine. I need to say what actually happened. Okay. Fuck. Okay. Jesus Christ. So I responded to Althea and said,
I mean, it's crazy. If this was the precedent back in the conservative zeitgeist, do you think trans people ever would have thrived on the internet like they have? No, trans people benefit enormously from not having this kind of social acceptability mob rule. True. Absolutely true.
was literally trying to follow the dialectical behavioral therapy book advice on removing myself from triggering situations. And Althea responds to that. I really never meant anything more than that. I appreciate that. And I respond, do you? You treat me like I'm an abuser. To which she responds, I was really taken aback. You accused me of condescending when I really never meant to. I think you may not always realize the difference in how we speak to each other. I don't call you names because I believe that's wrong and not healthy. And I think it's a good thing that we should strive not to do that. This is also a lie. Althea regularly yelled at me, to the point where my mother said that my ex was scary. I remember one time when Althea, before Althea transitioned, commented on the jeans I was wearing and said that the jeans I was wearing made me look like I was a man. I constantly felt like I was walking on eggshells. If I accidentally dropped something, it would get turned into getting yelled at. I remember having, I was contracting at a nonprofit called.
I mean, you know, we're now in this dynamic where they've made a bunch of bullshit allegations off of nothing. Keffals is making some allegations here. None of it is being substantiated. So unless you're willing to just accept Keffals' word, which I personally am not willing to do so, all you can say is it is she said, right? That's it. That's all you've got. That's all you've got to go on. God, this is such a fucking clusterfuck. Oh my God.
Bereaved families of Ontario, for people who lost a loved one. And I remember just how mad a member of the board of directors.
Wait, no, I said she said. I said she said. I'm within the rules. I'm not misgendering. I'm a nice guy.
Was when I said that Althea said, I need to get over my father dying, because it had been something like 6 months.
Oh, actually, sorry, this is off on a tangent. Is it true that Discord have changed their rules and you now need to gender correctly? Is that correct? Oh my God. Dude, are you serious? Wait, wait a second. Whoa. Our Discord doesn't have a problem with this, just to be clear. Our Discord does not have a problem with this. We are very welcoming and very pro-trans on our service, okay? Makes it sound like I'm worried about it. I just hate more TOS considerations getting added in. That's what I'm annoyed with. Dead naming and misgendering trans people is now explicitly banned on Discord. I think that there was a I think there was a little bit of Well, now I'm not going to say actually. Do you know what? I'm going to be cautious, right? To my knowledge, I do not recall any misgendering on my Discord. I do not recall any dead naming on my Discord. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, right. Let's continue.
They were a very cruel person. I could go on so many different things that happened, but I still have a lot more to cover. So I said to Althea, I don't think you understand the tones you use in your voice or your own body language, and when I bring it up, you say I'm tone policing, but it sets me off because it says more than words, and I'm referring to body language. Althea responded, I love you. I really don't want us to fight. I'm sorry. I don't know, really. I thought I was just suggesting you put down self-employed. I really didn't think it made much of a difference either way. And I said, it's just this pattern. I ask not to be woken up. I ask for space when I feel like I'm going to have a meltdown. And there's always some excuse not to let me have those boundaries. And then I'm the bad person. The form was, we were looking for a new place to live. When I'm talking here about a boundary, I had been repeatedly saying, please do not wake me up. And when I talked to a therapist, a psychologist, months after this, my psychologist characterized what Althea was doing to me as torture, not respecting me being able to sleep, intentionally keeping me sleep deprived. If you've seen...
I mean, the problem I've got is the messages here, when I looked at them, it just sounded like you'd be asleep and they'd wake you up and bother you with something when you were trying to sleep and you had a lot on your plate. Not this level that's being described here, that it's torture. I tell you what is true is if what is being stated is true, torture does sound excessive, but like, yeah, obviously it's incredibly shitty to wake someone up consistently so they're sleep deprived. But the problem is Keffals saying this happened. That's all we've got to go on. Nothing else. Like, even though the allegations were absolutely shitty from the other side, at least there were DMs to look at to assess it. But now I'm being asked to completely flip my interpretation of these messages to these new kind of like extreme positions in my mind, that there was torture happening, that the waking up was for sex and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I can't get there on words alone. Like, hopefully Keffals at some point maybe shows some information that's going to back some of this up. But I mean, yeah, it is extremely slim pickings on evidence so far.
Seen any of the streams that I did in 2021, if I always look like I'm just constantly exhausted, and even the streams at the start of 2022, that's why. Because I was always kept sleep deprived. I never got enough sleep. It is important to clarify that I would always stream late at night, and I would be woken up constantly, operating on like 3-4 hours of sleep a day, sometimes less. I'll keep going.
Maybe it was the cocaine.
So Althea said, I can admit I made a mistake in trying to get you up. And a reminder, getting me up was yanking the blankets off the bed and screaming at me. I'm not exaggerating. That is what happened there. I responded, I don't like being shitty to you. I just don't have a way to get out of the situation. You won't let me remove myself from it. And Althea...
Guys, come on. What the fuck are you on about? Oh, what day is it tomorrow? Monday. Oh. Sunday today, isn't it? Right. I've got to have my kids this week at some point. I think it's just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but... So only pretending to cocaine. Look, at the end of the day, I'm sure that there's a multitude of reasons that there was sleep deprivation. It's possibly true this person was waking them up. Seems like there was a lot of chop. There's a lot of chop knocking about. Bolivian marching powder. Yeah, I don't know. It's all just words for me. It's all just words being said. You know, and that was what was so good about the allegation initially is you can look at it and go, yeah, that's not true. With this, like I'm instinctively against this being true because, you know, I don't trust Keffals' testimony on things. But it's difficult because you can't really say one way or another with certainty. You've just got to go off your kind of like instincts, really. So hopefully they get to it. It looks like they might show some DMs later, so maybe we might get a bit more insight, but
Thea
we'll
responded,
see.
"You acknowledged I was in
No
an anxious
spoilers.
panic with the urgency of the situation. Even so, I shouldn't have done it." And I replied, "I lash out because you take away my agency." And Althea responded here, "But you did leave this time, and then you messaged me because I knew you needed your space till you came to me. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to learn how to respect your needs because I love you. I really am trying. I don't want to take your agency, and if I'm inadvertently doing so, I'll try my best to be more conscientious. That's a serious commitment from me, and I want to do it so we can work together."
I do think I'm okay. Hopefully this speed up doesn't make it unintelligible.
When I brought up in the past
Is that
I
okay?
needed to sleep, my ex Althea in these screenshots, who is has a doctorate in sociology, would often quote a bunch of sleep studies at me and say that what I'm doing is unhealthy and what they were doing was the best for me.
What the fuck? What? This is
They
nuts.
leveraged that over me quite often. The majority of the relationship, they were a grad student.
Sorry, I need a few more. I need to catch a few more Z's. I'm feeling pretty tired. Well, actually, this study here says that if you sleep too much, 2 times is fine. I'm 1.75.
And I was unemployed on disability. They once said to me that they were ashamed of telling their coworkers that I was on disability. I'll read this last part and we'll continue. "Yeah, you realize how shitty this all feels? We are at this hotel. This is me, by the way. We are at this hotel because of me, and because you not wanting to be too involved in my work and the dangers involved meant your OPSEC wasn't as good as mine." This is me referencing the fact that they posted a potted plant in our window on Instagram, which is how Kiwi Farms was able to find our apartment and dox us, leading to the swatting.
Oh my god. Bro, a potted plant. Jesus.
"You got hurt because of me, and I got hurt because of you. It's all fucked up."
The reality of it is, okay, this is the reality. If you are, you know, getting targeted in that way, you need to completely shut off any aspect with which people can track you down, right? That's the long and the short of it. I worry myself, to be honest. Especially when I move house. Fortunately, I don't think that people are necessarily looking to hardcore dox me. I'm sure that there's someone out there that would probably do it just for the laugh of it, but yeah. The farmers are coming for you. Yeah, I mean, you know, I am obviously referenced on there. To be honest with you, the best bet with Kiwi Farms is just to not, you know, not look yourself up. Like, why would you bother doing that? It's just a pointless endeavor, you know? And I think the more you engage with what's going on there, the more they're gonna, you know, engage with you. It's like a self-defeating endeavor, right? I'm surprised Hassan hasn't had swatting incidents, but that's because Hassan doesn't really engage with Kiwi Farms. So I don't think there's much interest beyond just documenting what he's up to actually, you know, fuck with him that much. The problem people make is they think that they can win and they can engage. In fact, this is like pretty deep lore, I guess. But there was this YouTuber called Guishan. They go by Lily Simpson. And do you guys know who I'm talking about, by the way? Oh, no, sorry. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that Hassan has never been doxxed. The point I'm making is that he doesn't get repeatedly fucked with by, like, say, people on kiwi farms, because he doesn't really, you know, he doesn't really pay that much attention to them, and you know, if you don't give them that attention, they tend to not be that interested. Lily Simpson, just to give you a bit of an insight of what we're dealing with, they've just released a video. They used to go by Geishan or something, called It's 2 hours 46 minutes long, and it's the transphobia of South Park.
Was all. It's the South Park video.
So this is them. And anyway, the reason I'm talking about this is this person made a video attacking kiwi farms. And I think you can all guess what happened next. I don't even need to explain it, I don't imagine. But yeah, the long and the short of it is it led to an escalation because Lily Simpson,
that's wonderful.
Grecian.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
3 windows in a row on a rounded wall, 2 18 inches wide, the center 32 inches.
Thank you, Chud's next door neighbor, for the 420. I appreciate it. Anyway, this Grecian person, they released a video talking about shitting on kiwi farms. It led to this escalation, which then led to Lily Simpson getting, like, doxxed, dead named, pictures of their pre-transition photos. I mean, to be honest with you, I had a little look at Lily Simpson's pre-transition photos, and I didn't personally notice much of a difference, but hey, anyway, that's besides the point. They were posting that, and, you know, they were, like, going after them. And yeah, it just created this whole dynamic where they get incensed by the fact that a video's been made about their platform that they're on, and then it just escalates things to, like, the next level. So anyway, the basic point that I'm making is, you know, and yes, it is easier to say this when you're not the target or they're not paying much attention to you, but it's just to really kind of not engage with it in any direct way. You know, they're going to document what you're doing potentially if you're interesting. They're going to talk about you. I think engaging with them directly is probably just not that wise. Just let them do their thing. Yeah, I don't know. I just think people make it worse for themselves by engaging with and you know, indulging in this kind of, like, rotten tooth syndrome where you're poking your tongue at the rotten tooth and causing yourself more pain. That's kind of what I think of it as.
I just need a sec. My heart is racing.
Oh.
But I'm glad to get this out, because after this stream is over, I have put all this information out there, and anytime these allegations come up again, I can be like, go watch this stream. I covered it all. Here is all the information. Water. So true.
Is there a hype train at the moment? Or is that an old hype train? I never see hype trains anymore.
Just letting the mods know that the YouTube chat needs to be dealt with. There's a lot of shitters who are coming out today.
I'm a shitter.
This is why.
Wait a second. What is the video you're watching about? It's titled "I Was Raped." I thought that might be clear enough, honestly.
I never wanted to have to cover this, but I will, to put this out.
Actual mongoloids. Oh my goodness. Yes, they're talking about chuds, as in the word chud, as in right-wing chud, not me. Don't get it twisted. I think these days are much loved
Okay.
amongst the Keffals community, from what I understand.
We have a lot to go over. We still have a lot to go over.
Oh. Oh my god, Beer Bass Johnson, no way. I know that dude. That is a deep cut reference. Beer Bass Johnson. Beer Bass Johnson is the guy that debated Dylan Burns about something, and he just drank throughout the stream and got more and more drunk. And when I watched it, I was just calling him like a drunken slob and shit like that. Oh. I was, yeah. I was more focused, I think, on his drinking than his arguments because he was as well. Okay, come on.
Jesus Christ.
Let's get through this. Stop messing about. Stop messing about,
Okay.
guys. This is serious.
I just closed the YouTube chat window. I'm not even looking at YouTube for the rest of the stream. If you give
Good
enough of a shit,
call.
you can go to the site chat.
Good call, honestly.
If you don't know why I'm talking about this, then this isn't for you. This is hard enough to cover as it is. We'll figure it out as we go. People
We'll
are
get there.
going to be unhinged because they can smell blood in the water, and they're gravitated to it. This is like a car crash to them. They have no stake in it.
That's you. You're getting called. Not me. I'm innocent in all of this. Okay? That's you. You're getting called out right now. All the people that are going, where's the rape? Where's the rape? I'm just innocently covering this situation from a journalistic perspective, and you're all there begging for rape.
So, to continue with this, so Althea tweeted out, "We were doing a rental app. All I did was ask if she should put down self-employed or Twitch for employer. She totally lost it on me and dragged me over the coals for trying to wake her up some days after the swatting so we could look for somewhere to live. And as I've already said, being woken up was literally having the blanket pulled from me and being screamed at. But right now, it's being presented as if this was a very calm action, especially when I made it very clear, do not wake me up. Like, I specifically had said this. Do not, like I said, I am setting a boundary, do not wake me up. And the response to this is that they resented the idea of me setting a boundary about being woken up, saying that it implied that they were being abusive. So Althea responds to this. This was a day after she woke me up at the prior hotel to say we've been doxxed, and how much money do I want to just disappear? This was less than a week after she asked me to marry her.
What the hell?
The reason that
I feel like as well, in this course of this, we're getting like little hints here and there of other aspects to this, which apply to the broader kind of story that was happening at the time. How much money do I want to just disappear? Where was that money coming from that was, you know, theoretically being offered to disappear? You know, it seems possible, at the very least, without evidence exactly, that that could potentially be coming from a certain $100,000. Possibly.
asked to marry her in the first place wasn't out of love. It was because after the swatting, I thought I was going to die. And as soon as I got released from custody, I proposed because it made me reconsider how much time I even have left on this earth. It's really weird to portray me as being insane or irrational and airing out this incredibly traumatic period of my life. So Blood responded,
I haven't seen these.
I'm sorry you dealt with this. When I asked her about you in a conversation about a year ago, she said you had been the abuser. And Althea responds to that. Of course she did, because that clears her conscience. She was literally always in the driver's seat, and she used her power against me when and how she wanted. I sacrificed thousands of dollars of my already meager income to stand by her in this period. I was consistently trying to get her to go back home, to leave me alone. I pushed back against her taking a medical leave. Also,
I think there's something more specific about this later, but Does this also not not kind of call into question some of the narratives that were happening at the time? Because I recall when this was going on, this person was like by Keffals' side and was like, you know, staunchly by their side as all this stuff was happening and so on and so on and so on. But now all this other stuff is coming to the forefront that makes it clear that there was now what I think's happening is there's just more and more and more inconsistencies that are being pumped into the story beyond what already exists to the point of it exploding like some sort of inflation fetish, right? But it feels like every step you take forward with the stuff around this story, you're getting more and more information that calls into question earlier information that you've been given. So if there was dishonesty there, was there potentially dishonesty here as well? And I think there probably was, especially taking into account the narrative of what's happened of, you know, we need 100K because we want to file a legal suit, we need to replace equipment and moving costs. The equipment was then returned, so the 100K was for moving costs and for a legal suit. The move happened, then there was this lawsuit that was apparently going to happen that never happened. Then later it was, I filed a complaint against the police, which is free to do. With a lawyer, maybe some cost there, but like to this day, there has still never been a full accounting, like released information of what happened with that money. And that sort of accounting and like a ledger of where the money went, what it was spent on, etc., 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 is so critical to really getting to the bottom of what happened with this money. And, you know, as I was saying yesterday, for me personally, I think it's really fucking shitty what happened. There isn't really much more that you can say or do beyond just mention it, that it happened, and then that's kind of it, really, because I don't think there's ever going to be any accounting for any of this, ever. I think you just have got to, you know, I don't know, like what more can you say about it? All you can do is point out that it happened, point out that this narrative occurred, but you can't force Keffals to do anything, really. You can't force her to release like financial information and breaking down what the 100K was spent on. But at this point, that's what's needed, because especially with the drug issues, it's pretty clear that they were not in a position to maybe correctly and accurately do all this kind of accounting and stuff. So, you know, I think it was intentional. I think they like intentionally took the money and were shitty about it. But there also could be the narrative that like maybe they just weren't particularly good at accounting with it. That at the very least would be true, right? If you're on drugs, there's no way you're going to be able to track and keep an account of this money here, that money there. And obviously, if you've got like money from a source for a certain thing, that should be walled around and be put off in a separate sort of section so you can't touch it, right? Like that. I can't imagine in a million years that happened at the very least, you know? So, I don't know. Yeah, obviously, I'm sure the money was all spent on coke. That's my kind of hot take. Beyond that, what can you really want? People just get away with shit. People just get away with shit on the internet. That's it. That's the reality.
Not a mutual decision. I never agreed to any of that. I never agreed to take care of her. I was not I wasn't the breadwinner. We didn't have a shared bank account. The way that it's being portrayed is very manipulative. Althea replies to that. I only ever admitted problematic behavior under the duress of imminent homelessness, while I was the furthest I'd ever been from home. Quite simply, it was a fawning response because I was fucked up enough. I would have done almost anything for her at that point. Again, throughout that entire period, I was practically begging her to give me space, as those text messages that she shows even say. Althea continues here. She never made any such accusations until after I served up that fawning response. Notably, about a month after, she spontaneously described me as treating her like she's an abuser. And then Althea posted this.
But we need to get through this shit, man. Jesus. How long does the actual stuff go on for until...
Oh,
like, I don't need to watch all of this, do I? That's pretty fucking long if I do.
One second. I have to deal with something very quickly. because this is getting on my nerves. Let's see, channel dashboard. Let's go to live stream. Let's go to customization.
I don't want to skip ahead fully because there is something that is said that I don't want to miss that I think is very relevant to the point I just made about new statements contradicting old stories. So
Minimum subscriber time. Let's go.
it's at 1.75.
60 minutes. There we go. Perfect. Now ban all the shitters, and it takes an hour for people to subscribe so they can say anything, and I can turn the chat back on. Perfect.
Okay. Is that right? Can you understand that still?
Getting really frustrating.
Is that too fast?
I do have to say, please don't jump to conclusions. The fact a trans woman made a stream that has a title, I was raped, that's going to attract chuds. The fact that I mentioned Kiwi Farms and Joshua Moon, that's going to attract chuds. There is no evidence to suggest that Xanderhall's community is brigading the stream right now.
She's talking about me.
Yeah, it's just the chud viewers. Don't worry about it.
Also, listen, as I've got to give credit there. Like, as much as I think that part of this is turning this against Xanderhall, it's pretty reasonable that she's saying, "Don't think this is Xanderhall's audience." This is probably chuds from the Kiwi Farm side or something. So fair.
He would jump to conclusions about your
Fair's
audience.
fair.
Yeah,
Fair's fair.
we're better than him. I'll read the super chats at the end of the stream if I don't feel completely beaten down.
Oof.
So I can't actually even read Althea's writing, but I included this in here. If people want to scroll through the stream and figure out what this says later, go ahead. But I just wanted to put everything that has been said in one place, so people have the record. This is where I know that Althea, before these accusations came out, was intentionally trying to hurt me. This wasn't simply about being wronged. This was malicious. This was intentionally malicious. So Walkoblin tweeted this out. Keffals in public says that Marxism-Leninism is a cult, but in private says that she wants to create and be the leader of a cult for validation, power, and money. I have been provided these screenshots. Be a source I will not reveal. And it starts off, I know I'm joking, but I feel like a little piece of me wants to actually form a cult. This is July 9th, 2020. Walkoblin says, a source I will not reveal. And I can reveal the source because these are my Facebook messenger logs from the same day, all the same messages. It is my ex who is sending information to Walkoblin through DMs in order to send harassment towards me online.
Yo, okay. That's interesting. That is an interesting little nugget, isn't it? So this X is, and look, say what you will about those messages that WAP Goblin is sharing, but this X is clearly malicious. This X is clearly engaging in like an element of malicious subterfuge where they're going around trying to spread things to shit on them. That is not a good look. That is not a heckin' good look, Sweaty. Okay, what the fuck are you doing?
There is absolutely no justification for doing this besides wanting to hurt me.
Snake behavior. Oof. Anyway, go back to the messages.
This isn't just a Twitter user. This is someone I was in a relationship with for 5 years. And this happened before Althea decided to go public with all of this. So Althea was feeding Walkoblin information. When was this? Throughout September, maybe early.
Oh, what a little snake. Anyway, what does it actually say? I know I'm joking, but I feel like a little piece of me actually wants to form a cult. Call it a cult, call it an insular spiritual community, whatever you want. You probably desire integration and motivation, climate change doomsday cult, and maybe from an atomized perspective, an integrated community seems cultish. I don't know, why do you think this appeals to you? Integration, motivation, validation, and probably power and maybe money. Oh! Yeah, we all know what you think about money, Keffals, don't we? Where's the 100K? Oh my god, okay. Look, it's on the screen. I think it clearly indicates, you know, obviously an element of Keffals there, which is quite kind of, what's the right way of putting it? What word am I thinking of? Fuck. You've obviously been very forthright here about a perspective. Clearly is very scheming. It's like a scheming, planning type element, right? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? So yeah, this message, opportunistic. Yeah, opportunistic. Sure. There's lots of different words. Opportunistic is a good word. Machiavellian, opportunistic. Yep. Why are you saying Jewish? What's that got to do with this? Anyway, putting that to one side, right? I probably could have guessed that anyway. For me, this just demonstrates how malicious this X is, where they're trying to put out information to shit on Keffals discreetly so that accounts tweet about it. This is like completely and utterly shady behavior, and it leads me to call into question this allegation even more so that they made. And remember when I said earlier that this person's allegation against Keffals seemed like more of a political move. It seemed like a move with which to shit on Keffals rather than being a genuine expression of abuse. This just backs that up even more. If they're going around secretly sending private DMs to big lefty Twitter accounts in order to get bad narratives about Keffals out discreetly, that's fucked.
Clearer than that. Yeah, just very calculated and very malicious.
Yes, I agree with that. True. Very calculated, very malicious.
But we can keep going from here. These are 2 tweets that
Sowing seeds. If you do not address them early, bear poisonous fruits.
Althea made. I never responded to Althea on Twitter. I never will. This is my only response. But after Althea went public with that information, Althea tweeted out, "Privating for a while because I really don't want to be a target for retaliation for saying what I know." And on the same day, she said she can respond however, whenever she wants. I know what happened, and I know how she's willing to wield her power against vulnerable people. This is where I need to admit something. Last year...
Okay. I'm going to slow this bit down because this is important.
I was in the papers. This was on CBC, Canada's biggest media outlet. Twitch streamer and trans activist says she's leaving Canada for a while due to harassment. Earlier this month, Clara Sorrenti was the target of a swatting incident and has been doxxed and hacked. And there was a criticism that I frequently got throughout that time. How does moving to a different country help you with online harassment? And as we found out, it didn't. Because once I landed in Belfast, I had people showing up, making threats outside of where I was staying. And I knew that no matter where I went in the world, I would not escape online harassment as long as I was an online figure. And the truth is, I left the country because of my ex and because I was scared of my ex. Because my ex was abusive and abused me emotionally and yelled at me and consistently coerced me into sex. That's why I left.
Okay, so that is massive. That is absolutely fucking enormous and massive in terms of massively contradicting this previous narrative that was perpetuated for many reasons, one of which was to solicit donations of $100,000 from her audience. So at the time, the story was, I'm getting hounded by Kiwi farms on the internet. One of the reasons alongside the lawsuit is I need this money so that I can afford to leave in order to stop being harassed by Kiwi farms. But now the story's changed. It wasn't to do with that. And in fact, she's not even saying it was partly to do with that. She's saying the reason that she moved was because her partner was abusive. And I believe this is now the problem that you're going to see is when you tell a lie and then you try and cover the lie up with a lie and more lies and more lies and more lies, not only do you create a web of lies that is impossible to get out of when you get wrapped up in it, now I'm listening to this and I don't know what to believe. I do not know what to believe. I'm like, okay, but you've lied about this before. Why would I believe you now? What grounds have I got to believe that this is actually the reason and this is the true tale? Because now all I can see is just a web of lies that's impossible to look through to figure out what's going on. And then also, yeah, it does undermine massive parts of the story that happened last year. Bear in mind that one of the reasons that Kiwi Farms was presented as this big threat that needed to be taken down was because of the fact they harassed you so much that you needed to move. And now apparently that's not true. It wasn't to do with that. It was to do with your ex being abusive. The claim was you had to move an entire country because Kiwi Farms was hounding you. Apparently that's not the reason at all. It was because you're abusive ex. That's crazy. And now Kiwi Farms is having to deal with an absolute fuck ton of shit because of your campaign against them that you spun up. That is crazy. That is fucking insane. Fuck me. I don't know. I mean, it's all very well feeling outraged about this, but I mean, yeah. All you can do is really point it out, I guess. That's it. Also, that's a good point from New Guy. It doesn't even make sense that you would have to leave a country because of your abusive ex. I mean, yeah, that's another fair point too. Is there any aspect of the original story that's still true? Fuck me, man. Crazy.
But I couldn't tell anyone. I didn't want it to be a big thing. I didn't want it to be in the papers while all the journalists were circling around and writing their stories. I didn't want that to be known. I didn't want any of this to ever be out in public. So here's a signal message. August 21st. Between me and Althea. I had a streamer friend who lives in the UK offer to let me live with him and his wife for a bit, and it's such a tempting offer. Just fuck out of the country. And Althea responds, yeah,
That was
maybe.
me. No, it's not
And
me.
I responded,
I'm
"But would you
joking,
even
I'm
be cool with
joking."
me doing that? I feel like it just make you really sad. Because the implication here is I'm going alone. And Althea responds to this, I'd hope you'd want to bring me. And I tried to let her down gently. And I said, you don't have a passport. And Althea responds to that, I thought you could pay to expedite your first one.
So maybe there's going to be messages here that demonstrate this, but there's nothing here that indicates this abusive dynamic. I mean, this is the ex, right? This is just this looks and reads as very standard relationship conversation stuff. There's nothing here that indicates to me that there's this abuse happening that would need you to leave an entire country to get away from.
So she was really doing everything that she could to maintain that proximity to me, even though it had been made clear repeatedly that I
That's a good point, Stylo. Oh no, that wasn't you. That wasn't you. I rescind that. Actually, Keffals show us this lying, deceitful part of being a woman down pat. No, this is this comment here, Alibaba. Admitting to lying right after getting sympathy from the audience. Smart, sneak Keffals. Yes, exactly. Like, obviously, if you're not in Keffals' community and you've not got the kind of parasocial attachment, that word gets overused, but the parasocial attachment, you are going to be like, oh, I feel really bad for Keffals. Oh, she lied about that, but it's no big deal. What does it matter? It's, whether it was Kiwi Farms or abuse, it doesn't really... But no, it does matter. It's massive. That's a massive aspect to this. That's a critical point to all of this that completely undermines large parts of the narrative that we were told last year. Again, I will talk about it. It's fun getting a bit outraged, but it feels at this point that, I don't think there's enough left in the tank to really substantively do anything about this beyond just point it out, really.
Wanted space. That she felt like she needed to be around me. And I honestly believe it's because she knew that unless she has that proximity to me, she had absolutely no control over me. And I think that the reason why she made this public in the first place, why she decided to leak things to Wop Goblin, was because smearing me online is the last way that she has any control over me at all. I live in a completely different continent now. I am so scared of her, I'm not even going back to Canada to see my family on Christmas because I don't want to be in the same city as her.
That's I mean, that seems like cutting your nose off to spite your face. Okay. Don't say anything about that. It was a turn of phrase. Anyway, the point I was going to make was the fact that this person is going out of their way to put out things about them. Like, it does lend some credibility to the idea that this ex is some sort of freak, because it's such an odd thing to do. I think it gets kind of normalized, but the idea that you would like release private DMs to a hostile third party in order to embarrass, shame, and shit on them publicly is an absolutely insane thing to do. It's not a normal thing to... Could you imagine doing that? Could you imagine you split up with someone and you send messages to your friendship group going, oh yeah, look at this stupid twat. Do you know what I mean? People would think you're a nutter. People would be like, God, they've lost the plot a bit. Why are they doing that? That's a crazy thing to do. But obviously, on the public stage in this, it's kind of normalized. But no, it's a crazy, insane thing to do. And this ex seems like a total fucking nutter, as far as I'm concerned as well. Okay? So, you know, clearly this person has got issues too.
So this is the following day, August 22nd, 2022. I posted the Daily Dot article of Cloudflare getting dropped, of Cloudflare dropping Kiwi Farms.
Oh my fucking God!
And Althea responds, hey, please don't forget to send a brief email to explain why I need to come with you. And after no response, just a few words will do, I think. Sorry to bother you. And I just responded, okay.
These, listen, the reality is these messages do not paint the story that I believe Keffals is presenting here to me. I think that you need to be extremely generous to Keffals in order to understand the implications that are being made by Keffals here. This just looks like fairly standard relationship conversation. Yeah, there's not enough context to really jump on board with the idea that what Keffals is presenting is true. Also, where's the media now reporting on this? I'm right here. I am the media now. I am the media now, okay? I'm reporting on this. So give generously, okay? Don't forget to support the stream.
These are signal messages between me and Ellen from now on September 12th. I was really happy here. I was really happy here until Althea arrived, and we already just had a fight, and I feel really bad for bringing this into your house. I thought the space would do us good, but I think it just made me realize I don't want to be in a relationship right now. I'm sleeping on the couch, but I'll look into leaving sooner rather than later. I'm embarrassed this is happening. Ellen said, okay, honey, it's okay. That's understandable. Nothing to be embarrassed about, at least to me. I'm your friend first, so whatever you need. You think you, Alex, you both would benefit from, I don't know, staying in a hotel. You're, of course, and remain welcome here as long or as short as you please. So the fight, Althea went to Northern Ireland. She got an expedited passport and she went to Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And the fight that happened was because she started pressuring me into having sex, and when I turned it down, she started calling me a prude, saying that it's not healthy for our relationship, that it's not healthy to not want to have sex if you're in your 20s. And I broke up with Althea in Northern Ireland.
Welcome to Chud Nation.
Plutonen gifted a tier 1 sub to
Hold on a second.
Nix. They have given 10
Plutonen,
gift
what are you
subs in the
doing?
channel.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the gift of sub. But why are you giving the money to a whore? I mean, the sub to a whore. You're giving money to me, but a sub to a whore. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm going to deputize some more site chat mods because stream's still getting brigaded, and I want to get through this. Let's see.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Hey.
I am the main
You need more mods?
stream
Okay, hold on a
media
second.
now.
True. Thank you for the 690. Appreciate it.
A pillow. Let's see.
Who of full compass mentors would actively choose to go to Northern Ireland to improve their situation? That's a good meme. I guess that they've got friends over there or something. I don't know, man. Probably.
Okay, a pillow. I made you a mod. Gift Smooth, I'm just gonna give a whole bunch of people mod, and you can just IP ban on site. I don't
Oh my
care.
god, I am way too fucking online. I know who A Pillow is. For fuck's sake, man. I need to log off for a bit. I swear to God. Fuck me. I know who a pillow is. That's not right. I shouldn't.
I just want to get through this.
There's some Vosh orbited guy with like 1,000 subs or something.
If your first reaction to the pain of others is to laugh, what in your life actually gives you joy? I don't think it's much. Vacant Zero, I'll make you a mod, sure. All right, that's 3 more deputized. We can shoot the shit with that later.
Oh, hey, Soy Latte. How's it going? My queen, give me my sword. I'll defend you.
It's devastating to see Keffals like this. I hope things turned out better. Things did turn out better in the end. I'm actually really happy, but it's hard to be reminded of all of this. This incredibly painful period of my life that I really want to move on from.
It's all Xanderhall's fault, am I right? He retweeted that thing.
Oh, jeez.
Counter ops. Listen, I'm trying to take it seriously. I'm doing my best.
That's actually it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I had stayed up for over 24 hours when I went on the H3 podcast, because that was the day I broke up with Althea. Ellen and I drove Althea to the Dublin airport and back before I had to jump on that stream. I was sleep deprived. I was stressed to the point of tears. And I just...
Get on that plane and fuck off! What is wrong with me? Dropped him off to the airport to get the fuck out of Ireland. Leave now!
I was not in a good headspace. And it's a really big regret, because I don't get opportunities, like, ever to go on a platform that big. And I feel like I was only at, like, 30% of where I could have been. But that's all in the past.
Dude, okay, right. I'm obviously just watching this and giving my take or whatever, right? You've got to understand something, though. No. Xanderhall's fucked now. Xanderhall is fucked. Xanderhall is fucked. Because Keffals is now flip reversing this. And this thing that they're doing where they're going, oh, Xanderhall retweeted this thing, so now I need to go into all of these horrible details about my abusive relationship, right? Boom! That is a fucking... Listen, that is a power move as far as I'm concerned, okay? Obviously, I've got a take on it. I think it's like a sort of play that she's making. But from the perspective of, game theory or something, I don't fucking know. It's like a power move to go, you retweeted this thing. Now I've got to go into all these horrible details about everything. And amongst the lefties, presumably a lot of people then are going to be more siding with Keffals, because they're going to be thinking, what? They're not going to look at it like the way we're looking at it. They're going to look at it like, genuinely, oh my god, I can't believe Keffals had to go into all these horrible details without thinking, oh, maybe she didn't need to do that. They'll believe the narrative, and then boom. They're going to all go and fucking hate on Xanderhall now. This is literally the worst possible outcome for Xanderhall. He's going to get crushed. The lefties are not going to be happy with this. Because from their perspective, someone who is a targeted person in the space is now having to account for all these horrible things that happen and go for it in all this heart-wrenching detail on stream, and that's because Xanderhall retweeted it and brought it into the public eye. Whether or not that's true or what the reality is irrelevant. To them, that's their reality. So they're going to fucking hate Xanderhall now. The Zampocalypse is incoming. Yeah, I think so far, from what I understand, he's lost like 1,000 subs. President Sunday has been gloating on social media about it, because he's obviously been a bit, from the sidelines chucking stones as well.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going now. I couldn't take the screenshot without also including this image of an old stream where I'm pointing.
I disavow.
There was
That's
no
a
way
bad
for me to
word.
include the timestamp without also including that. But this is September 21st, 2022. And Ellen asked me, "You doing all right?" And I said, "Not really. I can explain a bit." She asked me if I needed anything. And I said, "I broke up and said I'm moving into the new apartment alone." When we got back, we saw the email that a new tenant has already paid for our old unit. Althea can't afford to live practically anywhere in the city. And she responded, "Ah, fuck." And she asked me, is it possible to help out with rent for a bit, or if needs be, live together for a little bit? And this is...
How will Xanderhall respond? Xanderhall, guys, it's checkmate for Xanderhall, okay? Xanderhall has been outplayed in this situation because he's a fucking age-riddled retard, okay? He has been totally and utterly outplayed, okay? He could not possibly win because how can he possibly hope to engage with this in a way that benefits his image? He can't. He's toast. The only play he's got is to go, I fucked up. I shouldn't have retweeted about the allegation thing. Clearly, I didn't know enough about it, right? That's literally his only fucking gambit left. Okay, that's it. Is to surrender. He's got to tap his king over. That's all he's got left. He's fucked. Totally and utterly outplayed in this circumstance. In a drama that, remember, he began. He started all of this. What's the nuclear option? What's that? What's the nuke? I don't know what that would be. Pivot to the right. I just think the problem is you know, Keffals is presenting such a substantive thing here that it's going to be impossible to pick apart in a way that's going to be convincing enough that he's going to get more favor to his side, right? Xanderhall's going to move in with flamenco. That's the only option left.
This is important. This is the following day.
Going on
And
stream
I
with
said
Josh
Ellen.
Moon. Xanderhall. There's only one play left. One bullet in the chamber. One move left to make. Come out now with a story of your own rape that led to you contracting AIDS. That's the only option you've got left. You've got one card left in the deck, one bullet in the chamber. The AIDS rape story. The AIDS rape gambit. That's it. That's it. That's what you've got, okay? The AIDS rape gambit is your last... It's a last chance saloon, my friend, okay? Okay, I've turned it off now. I've turned it off. I just wanted to do a meme. Okay? Anyway, come on. Let's keep going.
I said to Ellen, "Thank you for talking with me yesterday. I don't think I would have gotten the confidence otherwise."
Wait!
I'll...
Come out. Two parts. Come out with your story of an age-riddled rape and then announce that you're transitioning and begin hormone therapy. That is the play. That is the only play you've got left, my friend. Okay? I say this, listen, I know we don't get on anymore. I say this, man to soon to be woman, okay? Get yourself onto the fucking website, get yourself some DIY HRT and get transitioning, lad. Woman. Lady, okay? Get on it. Anyway, come on. Let's stop fucking around. Come on.
Althea straight up admitted before you came out to abusing me. I'm kind of impressed that they were willing to just say that. And Ellen responded, "My pleasure, dear. I'm glad I gave you the spark. Oh, wow. How are you feeling about that?" And I said to her, it felt validating because it's what I've thought for a long time now. And it made Althea realize how much they fucked up. They came out, and I came out to the living room because I was sleeping on the couch, to tell me they were looking up some of the stuff I was telling them they've done over the years, and found out it is called coercive control, and is part of domestic abuse laws in the UK. And Ellen responded to that. I'm glad it felt validating. Yeah, coercive control law has been really good lately. A lot is covered by it.
When it comes to domestic abuse, we're pretty hot on that in the UK. We're pretty hot on that. If you look at a lot of kind of British guys, you know, they got the kind of look about them where if dinner is 1 second over what it should be, there's going to be an absolute fucking beasting happening in that household, right? England lose the footy. Oh my goodness, you don't even want to fucking know, okay? You've got fucking battered housewives at home watching the football results, literally shaking with anxiety. It's 1-1. Please, England, score, please, please. But then England do score and they win. And guess what? In a cruel twist of fate, the guy gets so drunk, he comes home and beats the shit out of his wife anyway. So you literally cannot fucking win anyway. Okay, come on. We're against domestic abuse. I say that to criticize it.
So, I wanted to go over that in this stream. Because I hope that some people can take something away from this situation. So I grabbed an article about coercive control, and I'm just going to go over what that is. And if you recognize anything in your relationship,
oh no,
you
I
should
hate this
have
shit,
a good
man.
long think about it. What is coercive control? Domestic abuse isn't always physical. Coercive control is an act or a pattern of acts of assault, threats, humiliation, and intimidation or other abuse that is used to harm, punish, or frighten their victim. How can you tell whether you are a victim of coercive control? Here are the signs. So the first one, it's more than just one argument. Emotional abuse happens over a sustained period of time, where the perpetrator repeatedly controls their victim. From our point of view, when we are talking about domestic violence, it's not the case that one argument crosses a line and it becomes an abusive relationship. It's a pattern in the relationship where one partner is controlling and there's an ongoing sense of fear. And number two, an abuser wants to scare their victim. With domestic violence, usually male partners behave in a way that's designed to intimidate, frighten, or coerce their victim's behavior. When a victim is frightened of their partner and treads on eggshells out of fear of the reaction, that's a problem. It's abuse if you feel frightened of your partner and you're worrying about the consequences of what externally might be relatively minor things. If he gets angry at the slightest thing, if you have to do everything his way, if you're worried and feel like your behavior will set him off. I'm gonna take a... I'm sorry if this is a very triggering stream, by the way. I know that this is a very hard thing to talk about. But I'm also happy that I've been able to talk about it. Okay, so number 3, the small things count. Women's Aid give one example where a man told his partner that she had to wrap cheese in a particular way before putting it in the fridge. If she did it wrong, he would scream and shout at her. We all have funny little things like that, but the point is she was frightened of his response.
The cheese is wrapped wrong. She wrapped the cheese wrong. What the fuck? Boom, boom, boom. Get that fucking cheese wrap now. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we need to calm down a bit. I think that's okay. I don't think that's against TOS to do a little
that's
joke.
Wonderful.
Okay.
How do I make money off depressed people?
England 1, France 2, my ex 0. She never stood a chance.
What did I tell you about the cheese? Oh my god, Jesus. Anyway, thank you, Chud Logic. That's me for the 420.
He didn't hit her, but she knew he would see it as a symbol that she didn't love him and she was trying to wind him up. It seems like a minor thing to you, but it has a big impact to them. An example, with Althea, one time, I had the front door open of a house that we were living at, and when they came home from work, they couldn't find their cat, who was under the couch, and they screamed so loud, like no one has screamed at me that intensely my entire life, blaming me for having the door open to get some air when the cat was in the house the entire time, never left. So 4, a one-way street. In a healthy relationship, equality is present. If one person has particular needs, they accept that their partner will also have their own needs. But an abuser will not think about their partner and generally puts themselves first. It doesn't go the other way, explains Women's Aid. There's no consideration that you're upset. Perpetrators of domestic violence do it because they feel entitled to behave that way. They think their partner is there to meet. They think their partner is there to meet their needs, and they're entitled to take whatever they want. Number 5 on the list for coercive control. Nothing ever happened. Gaslighting is when someone exhibits abusive behavior and then pretends it didn't happen,
there it
or even
is, the
switches onto the victim.
gaslighting.
It's also common among psychological abusers. It can be very confusing, says Women's Aid. It can cause serious problems when a woman starts to doubt herself. That's very difficult to get your head around as a survivor. It takes a woman a long time to recognize that the nice behavior and abusive behavior are both a conscious decision on the behalf of the perpetrator. Number 6, unhappiness doesn't matter. In a healthy relationship, if one person tells their partner just how unhappy they are with their abuse... I'm going to start again. In a healthy relationship, if one person tells their partner just how unhappy they are with their behavior, they may be upset, annoyed, or both, but they will eventually get over it. An abuser will not react that way. A perpetrator is unwilling ever to listen to why you're unhappy and will often minimize what has happened. If they're not willing to do any work towards your relationship, that would be really concerning, as would being too scared to talk about it in the first place. All of us in relationships mess up sometimes and don't behave appropriately. If you're frightened and worried and feel like you have
we obviously, this is what this is. Is there any on the R? Or is that it? Is it just the kind of nebulous allegation of the sex thing before? I like. It's called "I Was Raped." The stream is called "I Was Raped." Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to watch this whole thing. There's less than an hour left now. We're getting through this at a pretty rapid pace, so give me a sec.
Give up on the things that are important to you in order to make your partner okay and to avoid his bad behavior. That's where the line is. Yeah, I have the chug jug. So thank you for the $500 super chat. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Am I okay? I am okay. I'm okay. Besides getting brigaded by chuds, this has gone well. I still have more to talk about, obviously. I want to show you all something. Because Althea had a tendency. Oh, I didn't even get through it all. I think it's the next thing up. So, number 7. Controlling in many ways. Women's Aid explains that control is a significant factor in psychological abuse, and a perpetrator can exact it in a number of ways, such as not letting their partner go out or visit friends and family. It can also be financial, with a perpetrator controlling their victim's money, or it can be a case of the abuser not wanting to ever socialize. And that was something that I experienced quite often, where all of my online activity was monitored, who I was allowed to be friends with. Well, I was never given exact word for word, you can't be friends with someone. It would often be implied over and over again, I don't like this person, here's why this person isn't good, here's why this person has bad politics and they're not a good friend, and you shouldn't be their friend. It was incredibly controlling.
Did I miss anything?
Even after my father passed away, I wasn't able to stay with my mom for more than 3 days before Althea started demanding I come home. And that is incredibly fucked up. Because I wanted to be there for her so much more.
Got $100.
But number 8, personal attacks. There doesn't have to be any physical violence for someone to be guilty of domestic abuse. It's not just about bruises. Often it can simply involve words, where a perpetrator might make comments designed to emotionally manipulate his victim. It's abuse if he or she puts you down and tells you you're stupid and unattractive, then no one else will love you. Even if it seems to be done in a kind way, it's still emotional abuse. So like the comment I talked about earlier, saying that you look like a man in those pants, like putting me down and trying to control the way I dress. This is what I wanted to show you all. This is an old message that shows a cut on Althea's leg. And I said, what the fuck? She responds, yeah, it hurts. I said, I'm so sorry. Althea said, it's okay, now we know. And I said, I think it might have been when you were wrestling me. And she responded, fair. Because she would often disregard my boundaries to the point where she has scars on her body from my nails when I was trying to exert my boundaries that I did not want to have sex. And I should have.
Wait. Here's the thing, right? That could be true. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room. The problem you've got is these messages, unfortunately, do not back up the statement that's being made. Unless you're willing to be incredibly generous to Keffals to interpret it that way. You know, on the face of it, this just... Don't lie, Chud. You were on the chair in the corner. The way that you would interpret these is nowhere close. Like, if you looked at these messages outside of what Keffals is saying, there's no way on earth you would interpret it in this way. But obviously, Keffals is saying this is what happened. If you really like Keffals, you might well believe it. But I'm thinking, no, this doesn't back up what you're saying at all. Could be true. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. But I think for me personally, I'm going to need more than just messages that I need to contextualize and interpret in a way that goes completely against what my base thought process would be.
have seen the red flags that she was like this because she does this with animals. She does this with her,
Like, you know, obviously, I'm not expecting it to be, oh yeah, that's when you were trying to rape me, right? That's absurd to think it might say something explicit as that. But at the very least, you would expect it to say like something like wrestling comes across as playful. Wrestling seems very playful. It doesn't come across as you're you know, trying to indicate that you were at that time trying to fight back against them, trying to have sex with you when you didn't want them to.
with her cat. She has scratches all over her body from her cat because she like constantly disregards the boundaries with her cat. Her cat doesn't want to be picked up. And now whenever I see someone who disregards the boundaries of animals, I immediately, it's just a huge red flag. I cannot, like it.
Oh wait, hang on. Whoa. Hold up. Did the X say something about the cut? Is this why this may be relevant? I can't remember. Cool.
So, oh my God, my heart. These are the final text messages that we ever had with each other. And the context of these text messages is missing because we communicated on Signal. And there was a day before messages auto-deleted. When Althea admitted and owned up to being an abuser, when she specifically named coercive control, I was willing to help her financially to find a place.
So all these messages are just so happen to prove everything we can't see because they've been deleted. I mean, come on, man. That is a big L. That can be asserted without evidence could be that could be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Actually, I don't know. I don't trust Keffals, so I'm not going to just believe that what she's saying is true. And if these messages are deleted where they admit to it, I mean, they might as well not exist at all because how the fuck am I supposed to know?
And she decided to walk it back and say that she didn't do that and that it was mutually abusive. And when she did that, I decided that I would withdraw all my support and I no longer wanted to talk to her. I no longer wanted to have anything to do with her. I'll read these out. So this is Althea. Hi, Clara. I'm really sorry if I got heated. I don't mean to dispute you or argue. I'm just struggling to understand, but that's not your job. It's probably smart to take a break talking, but please let me know if we can keep lines of communication open to figure out ending York, which again is our old apartment. I know there is baggage between us, but I still think it will go a lot smoother if we work together and save a lot of charges. I'll be more conscientious of what I say and keeping focused on just the necessary tasks. And I responded to that. Move all your stuff out and text my mom when you are done, then I'll call the junk removal and maids to finish the job.
Giga Chud. One thing that I think this does show at the very least that you can kind of intuit is there's clearly some dynamics at play here. There's clearly, like, the tone of these are so different to what came before. So these messages that we're missing, I'm sure would contextualize it one way or another, but who fucking knows what that would look like? I mean, yeah. But evidently, it seems like the X is trying a bit more to be friendly and pushing forward. Keffals is very cold and distant and cut off, doesn't want to engage with it. The reason for that will always be a mystery, unless someone's able to access these messages and provide them.
I did not want to be in the same room or talk to her whatsoever. So she responded to this. Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, there's more, wait.
And I replied, if you give her an address and unit number, I'll box up and have all your stuff from this apartment brought over. And she responded to this. I'm sorry, I said hurtful thoughts you didn't need to hear. Let's take a break talking for a few days or weeks, but please don't cut me off altogether, or at least please, no, you don't have to. I do want to respect you the way you want to be respected. I still need your help. I know I failed you when we were together, but I did genuinely want to remain friends and do right that way. I respect you very deeply, and I want my behavior to always reflect that.
Oh, hang on, what could that mean? Oh.
I understand if you don't want to be friends after all, but please remember, I do still need your help. Can you please confirm if you will follow through on the bed and the GoFundMe money? If I know that, we can just stop talking if that's what you want.
Oh, What is this? The what does that mean exactly? The GoFundMe money. I thought that was for a court case. Oh! I thought that was to help you move because you're trying to go with Kiwi Farms. Oh, very interesting.
And my final response to Althea was, there is no positive aspect to your presence in my life. You've hurt me a lot, and I do not want you in my life in any capacity. I'm not going to follow through on anything because I owe you nothing, and those offers were based on goodwill, which you burnt through. You know how to contact my mom, so we can finish our separation. Don't try to contact me again unless it's through a third party I trust, like my mother. That was it. That is the last thing that I ever said. Now, if you think that, I saw some people saying that that was guilt trippy. Do you want to see guilt trippy?
Also, it's so crazy that, like, this here, to me, jumps out at me straight away. And I'm like, the GoFundMe money? What has that got to do with this? Very odd. There's probably more to this than meets the eye. But obviously no one in Keffals' chat is going to say a single word about that. No one in the chat is going to go, because they've already accepted the premise that the GoFundMe money, the narratives of that are so deep-rooted that nothing could possibly question that. But I'm looking at this like, what is this? There's way more than meets the eye here, surely. I think someone in chat was saying that maybe they were splitting up over the money or something like that. Maybe, possibly, yeah. It's such limited, it's such slim context. It's difficult to know 100%. But there is a possibility there that there was maybe some issue or disagreement about this big fucking stack of money that they got sent. Did Keffals offer to go 50-50 with the big heist? Oh. Well, I tell you one thing, regardless of anything else, even though Keffals' audience is going to just suck this down, there's at least some breadcrumbs here that people are probably going to start to, you know. Oh, wait, they talk about the GoFundMe money. Oh.
Because that wasn't even the worst.
Spoiler alert.
This is I think it's called Mr. Snowman. It's a Beanie Baby that they sold at, I think, Sears or Zellers in like 1999 through 2001. And when I was a kid, I was given this in the children's hospital when I got pneumonia. And I kept it with me everywhere until like the age of 25 when I lost it in a move. And I talked about how I really wanted to get one again. And the last thing that Althea did was replace the snowman. So a precious childhood memory is now completely tainted with the most abusive person I have ever had the misfortune of having to spend my life with.
I fucking hate it when that happens. Oh, God. I'm cursed. I'm just cursed, not ever taking anything seriously.
She found a replacement on eBay. And now every time I look at it, I don't remember a happy childhood. I remember the fucked up years that I had to spend with her. I also want to highlight the abusive language that she uses. In her most recent tweets, she says things like, so today I've been told both that I chose to be homeless, but then in tweets before she made this turn, she used the phrase hidden homelessness. Hidden homelessness. This is a very significant jump optically, because saying homeless implies that you live on the street, and hidden homelessness means that you could be living with friends or family, but you have a roof over your head.
Yeah, hidden homelessness is a term that's used by people that, you know, want to present a worse image than they actually are in order to solicit donations from their audience. That generally tends to be what it's for. Because, yeah, the word homelessness is obviously a strong word. But if hidden homelessness means I'm living in someone's house on the sofa for a bit, I mean, yeah, you're a lot better off than living on the street, right? You're like, you know, a significant margin better than just sleeping in the cold on the street.
She meant living with friends.
Yes, you used to call it couch surfing.
Those are drastically different things. And she switched to saying homelessness in order to get more sympathy from people online. I'm not denying that she probably struggled. However, That's not my responsibility. We had separated, and it was not my job to support her through that separation when she betrayed me, when she hurt me so much, to the point when I was in rehab, I found out that I had post-traumatic stress disorder from before the swatting, before Kiwi Farms. I had post-traumatic stress disorder because I am a survivor of domestic abuse. And the reason why the swatting was so devastating is because I already have a tremendously bad startle response from having post-traumatic stress disorder. So getting jump scared with an assault rifle was fucking terrifying. And when I screamed, I thought they were going to pull the trigger and my life was going to end right there.
Off depressed people.
Legal tender which can be exchanged for goods and services.
Wait, hang on a sec. I thought the story changed beyond that. Like, originally it was about the rifle, but then later the story was that actually the police just knocked on the door and the rifle pointing in the face waking up wasn't true. Dude, this story's got more holes than Swiss cheese, am I right? Anyway, what was that super chat? Oh, thank you, Russ Cole, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Keep them coming, guys. That story's changed so much, man. I
also want to address that Althea accused me of economic exploitation in the form of economic abuse, saying that I trashed the apartment we shared and that I made her pay $1,200 in repairs. How is that not exploitative? The apartment was partially trashed because of the police searching for a handgun after the swatting. And also that I sometimes struggle to keep things tidy. I'm disabled. I have chronic pain issues. I have chronic fatigue. I give 100% to streaming, to making...
It's long COVID now. You don't need to say it's long COVID. That's the news today. Okay, anyway, listen. Come on, let's try and get through this. Stop it. Guys, stop it. I see you in chat saying things. Enough. Stop being shitty. This is a serious thing. I was raped, it says here.
Content. I'm good at it. I love my job, but sometimes I really struggle.
Now listen, in all seriousness, look, to be very, very serious, I am going to be serious for a second, okay? I am. I've got no doubt in my mind that this relationship was shitty, okay? I think that there probably was some shitty things this Althea person did. The fact that they're willing afterwards to send private messages to public Twitter accounts to get them to shit on them, yeah, I'm sure there's some real shady, shitty stuff that was happening. I just reject the idea of accepting everything Keffals is saying as fact, when even within this story, she is talking about times that she's lied about other things.
Chud Nation.
Like, of course, you should not believe this person on the basis of what they say. And the evidence that they've provided, unfortunately, doesn't match the things that they're saying. And in order for it to match, you need to be extremely generous to Keffals intellectually. Thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate it. Anyway, that's my serious take on this, okay? Beyond all the memes.
Everything that I have to do in my life. And she went into the relationship knowing that I'm disabled. When I was depressed after my dad died, instead of helping me to take care of my guinea pigs, she pressured me into putting 2 of them up for adoption. The pets that I had since they were babies, that I loved.
Give me a fucking break with this shit.
Because she said it wasn't her responsibility to take care of them when we were
not
pregnant,
the guinea
but
pigs,
it's somehow
no!
my responsibility to take care of her when I want nothing to do with her.
Oh, God, okay.
All of our debts I had split down the middle. That's not economic exploitation if you have shared debts and you decide to split them 50-50.
Wait. It's hard to take care of small... Yes! Guinea pigs are made of fucking eggshells. They will die. The guinea pigs die like that. Right? I remember when I was a kid, we had guinea pigs, and they died. They were dying left, right, and center. It was crazy. One of them got like some illness. In order to try and keep them warm, I think my mum put them in like the airing cupboard or something, and then it died anyway. Guinea pigs are one of the worst pets if you want to have a pet that's alive, okay? That's just facts, right?
Yeah, it was $2,400. I paid the other half of it. I'm planning on getting guinea pigs again after I move. So, I'm just putting this on the screen just to... I'm sure some people can take a lesson from this. but economic abuse is legally recognized as a form of domestic abuse and is defined in the Domestic Abuse Act
Economic
in the UK,
abuse is
involving the control of a
based.
partner or ex-partner's money and finances, as well as the things that money can buy, which I never controlled their money. I never controlled their finances. Splitting debts down the middle after a separation is not abuse. I'm not even going to go over this. You can pause the stream if this interests you, but I did not sabotage her income or access to money. I didn't restrict how she uses money or the things that she owns. I didn't exploit her economic situation. And now we're going to address what the title of the stream is about.
Oh God, here we go.
I've hinted at it throughout the stream, but now we will actually talk about. This was what Althea posted in Walk Goblin's replies.
The big R.
These are text messages from me, February 24th, 2020. So, Althea tweeted, "Is it tame to tell someone if you want me to stop twisting your arm behind your back, play this game with me and be nice? Is that kind of attempted coercion normal?" And I'll just read it all out. "I told my mom I'm the mediator now. Since you called the cops, you'll talk to me." The reason this happened is that Althea's sister convinced Althea to lie to the police and say that I was threatening her. When I
Oh my God, this is from 2020. So this is like before all the other stuff we've been talking about. Jesus. God, this Althea person's got every fucking receipt on lockdown, haven't they? Listen, beyond anything else, yeah, it's insane that this person is like this. Just the socialist is some fucking retarded leftoid drama account or some shit. Like, obviously, it's insane to give messages and content to these kind of accounts.
never did that. I was pissed. And it doesn't even talk about the context in which this happened. This is when we first broke up in 2020. And there were many reasons for why we broke up, but the instigating incident was that I was depressed. I was disassociating, lying naked on the bed. And without asking consent, with me very obviously not being enthusiastic, they just jumped on top of me and started fucking me. And I didn't have any energy. I didn't stop them. And they got mad at me afterwards for not being enthusiastic. So I started planning to leave, and then when they were out, I packed a bag and I fucked off.
Pretty stark. Jesus.
And then on July 1st, they sent me this message in the midst of the pandemic.
So, I mean, yeah, that is your sort of classic kind of allegation scenario where two people in a room, a claim is made, and it is then obviously going to be impossible to I do that to my wife all the time, no biggie. I forgot my chat is full of rapists. Fuck. Tipster right now, it should have been me. That is disgusting. Please, come on. I've got to say, one thing I'm absolutely shocked and appalled by is when this came out, and this was Keffals' stream, I saw a not insignificant amount of people ask if it was Tipster. Absolutely disgusting, honestly. Who would speculate like that?
And I got back together with them. I was living alone during the pandemic. I had to start doing online sex work to support myself. I was fucking miserable. I wanted to die. And I thought giving them another chance, despite knowing how fucked up they are, was a preferable alternative to the life that I had without them. And I'll just read this out to you. So we've gone our ways and spent this time apart, and we're both doing okay. I genuinely and deeply hope you continue to do well. You've always had such a bright and savvy mind, so I'm sure you'll keep flourishing. I'm sure both of our feelings are very complex, but I really feel, at root, I never lost a fundamental respect for you. I know my behavior didn't always reflect that, and I was a much worse person than I set out to be. I don't know if you know, but you were literally the first person I ever told I love you. There were a lot of milestones and big moments with you. It's no excuse, but what I mean is I was probably a lot more naive, if not stupid, about love and lots of other things than I came across, which was very arrogant at times, I'm sure. These next two paragraphs are very important, which is why I'm so deeply ashamed of how I acted in the last months of our relationship, to say nothing of the rest of it. Believe me, there are a lot of specific episodes I remember in close detail, which we never discussed, of just how plain shitty I could be at times. Those were really shameful choices on my part.
Okay. Well, how? Just how plain shitty I could be at times. So in situations like this, it's again impossible to ascertain from this what happened. But the language, I think, can sometimes be telling, because you obviously were going to apologize for things you've done in a relationship that you think are wrong. That's a very common dynamic. You have a relationship with someone, it all goes to shit. You go, oh, I'm sorry about all that, just generally because of what happened. Referring to like a shameful choice, like something being shameful would indicate to me, and this doesn't prove anything, okay? I'm not saying it proves that the claims that are being made, but doing shameful would normally indicate, well, it's shameful. Like, that's quite a strong word to use, isn't it? You made a shameful choice. What, like, you are then going to be ashamed of that choice? Like, what generally are you going to be ashamed of? Do you see what I mean? Like, think about relationships that you've been in. What's the worst thing you've ever done that you might consider to be ashamed of? It's likely to be pretty severe, right? It's not just going to be, oh, one time I, ordered fast food and forgot to ask if you wanted anything, right? It's probably a bit more serious than that. So again, not to say it proves what's being said here, but to me, I look at it and I think there's probably something fairly serious that happened that they feel ashamed about, that they're not saying clearly what it is, but there probably is something that could be, but is not proven. That's what I'm trying to say.
Notice how they say that they are aware of specific episodes and close details, but they didn't elaborate. To continue with this, I never meant to be such an awful person in your life, such a deeply negative influence, but I was, and my words can't take back all that time. I hope that what I'm writing conveys that I do feel a great sense of remorse and disgust at myself. It really scared me to my core to watch myself play out the nasty dynamics I...
Yeah, shameful is like if your partner tries to unalive themselves and they're at the hospital, but you're on a low winning streak, so you'll visit them later. Are you speaking from personal experience there? Is that what that is? Because if so, based.
Grew up with. I think your leaving was a blessing in disguise for me, because I had to really take a hard look in the mirror and reflect on who I think I am versus how I actually act. That said, I am actually making serious efforts to do the work on myself. Regular therapy, more deliberate self-care, etc., which I probably should have been doing for years before. Again, not that that's any excuse for how I acted. I haven't talked to my sister since the beginning of March.
Regular therapy, self-care, no excuse for how I acted. Interesting.
And again, that's
words.
important because Althea's sister was the person who told her to lie to the police about me and say that I was a threat and that I was threatening her. But to continue, and my therapist seems to agree this is good for my mental health, I think you know about the backed up, unresolved trauma there. You were so right about so many of the toxic traits I carried. I'm so sorry that I didn't take it seriously when you said as much. And I'm even more sorry I ever hurt you. I feel like you should know I don't think I will ever forget how scary it was to find that ugliness in myself. I know you have every right to feel resentfulness towards me, and I don't blame that. But I felt I owed it to you, for you to hear me say that I came to realize how right you were, and how much self-work I needed to do. The fallout of my shitty behavior really spelled that out for me. I never wanted hate between us, but I know I acted hatefully because I was weak. I know our love is dead, but I thought you should know I'm really striving to not be that hateful person and to be better and do better. And they repeated this again. I know our love is dead, but I'm still thankful for what you taught me over the entire course of our relationship, from beginning to end, and even afterward. Because you're someone I really deeply respect and admire, I very much wanted to say sorry. This is the same person who was sharing my Facebook chat messages to Wop Goblin in order to stoke online harassment towards me. The same person who is calling me an abuser and doing Darvo even though they sexually assaulted me.
Ooh.
So after this, we got back together, and you know the rest of the story. Now it's all out there. I recapped basically everything.
They've already explained about the R. You missed it. The allegation is that they had sex with them in a format where they didn't consent to it. I'm not laughing at that. I'm just. Oh, I don't want to explain it again. If you missed it, you missed it. Okay. I don't know what more to say about that.
Like, I could keep going on, but it's basically a repeat of these same points about being owed things that she is not owed and trying to twist that into abuse when she has hurt me in so many unimaginable ways that have left such a scar on my psyche.
Basically, Keffals claims that she was lying on the bed naked and she was like zoned out in a very bad headspace, and this person put themselves on top of her and had intercourse with her without getting permission, without getting enthusiastic consent or any consent, apparently. Okay? Wasn't in the mood. They forced themselves on them anyway. And, you know, look, I don't know what did or didn't happen. One thing I would say, though, is there are times when there's a miscommunication and you might try and initiate something and the other person isn't down for it. That happens. But obviously, to continue onwards is obviously wrong. Do not do that. Okay? Like, the reality is that, generally speaking, you're going to get an insight or indication into whether or not someone is willing to proceed down that route. Yes, I completely, unequivocally condemn rape. I believe rape is bad. You should not rape. Rape's corny. Anyway.
I'm sorry, by the way, for the, I'm sorry, by the way, for the alarming stream title. What I said is true. This all happened.
Right.
But I wanted people to know this. I wanted people to know everything that happened. All of the context that Althea was leaving out. Because if this kept propagating, me not saying anything would be read as guilt and me trying to avoid this. If she has responded, don't show me.
Yeah, I think that my initial thought process of, oh, there's no need to respond to this whatsoever. Yeah, I think that I was viewing that from my perspective. Of like thinking it's complete bullshit, but seeing it from a lefty perspective, I think, yeah, it does make sense to respond to it and talk about it. But I still think that this is a very extreme response to go into all of this detail and all of the insights that we've got into Keffals' perspective on what happened, when all you had to do was go, you know, there's not abuse here. This, like, Keffals could have just talked about how the relationship dynamic was a certain way. This doesn't represent abuse. This was just a terse relationship situation or something. But instead it's gone into like all of this, you know, exactly, yeah, I never abused anyone. Instead it's all of this extraneous detail that I don't really think is necessary personally, but I would say it's been fun to cover this, but I don't think that, because obviously this has been a very horrible tale. I'm sure you've enjoyed it though, because you're all sick fucks. And also I think that there is a level of intentionality to the response because she wants to nuke fucking Xanderhall now. I think part of it is thinking, okay, Xanderhall, you wanted to bring this to the forefront. I'll take it there. I'll take it up to the next level. You have now forced me to talk about my own rape on stream. So what now? Like, Xanderhall is fucked. And his only option is, if he doesn't want to back down, is to transition. That's it.
I don't care what she has to say.
Your move, AIDS boy!
I don't plan on pressing any charges. I want to move on with my life, and if she wants, like, there's nothing she can really get out of continuing to slander me. I would be worried for her and her future career prospects, honestly. Why she decided to do this when she has a sociology doctorate. She has a sociology doctorate, and she's doing shit like this online.
Again. Oh my god! Soft threats of what? Employers? Oh, future prospects? Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, oh no, I'll be safe. A pillow. Like, yeah, a bunch of people came in here to heckle me. I love my life. I actually enjoy my life every single day. I escaped all of this. And I never wanted to talk about it because I wanted to leave it behind. I miss a lot of my friends back in Canada. And maybe one day I'll go back, but I don't feel ready. And yeah, I do think it's also important to recognize, like, I wasn't perfect throughout all of this. But there was a very clear power dynamic where I was a disabled trans person living on social assistance in a relationship that was, for the majority of the relationship, it was less than a year that they came out as trans. The majority of the relationship, I was in a heterosexual relationship with a cis dude grad student with a TA job. There was a very clear power dynamic in place.
Oh.
And Althea tries to flip this around and say that, oh, well, you have like a platform now and you make a living streaming, so you have the power dynamic. But that's not how this...
Look. We've got this far, guys. We got this far. I'm not even transphobic anyway. You guys are the ones that can be transphobic sometimes. I'm not even transphobic. I'm very woke on trans stuff. Okay? According to some, I'm a chaser, even. Not true, but some people say that about me because of how woke I am. So I don't want to get labelled with your fucking baggage, okay? I'm engaging with this in a responsible way. It's your fault that you're transphobic, chat.
Played out. And the moment I had the resources to leave, I did, and it's because of this community. The fact that my streaming career took off, the fact that people supported me as much as they did, I was able to make enough money to get the fuck out of there. The moment I started seeing financial success, I started pushing back harder against all of this because I realized I had an actual way out. That I didn't just have to take it anymore. Like, I remembered my first year of streaming, while I was still in that relationship. And I lied and said that streaming the night shift would be good for my viewer growth, specifically to get away from her. And I was drinking every night, going live on Twitch to my like 12 to 100 viewers. I was miserable as fuck, but it was the one place I could be myself.
Yeah, I mean, again, just someone said something in chat that kind of triggered this in my head. This always feels like Keffals' angle is some things happening, and there's always like boom, some victim, some victim mentality to push, and this seems to happen every time this goes on. And this is why I was saying yesterday, I believe that people have got a capability to change. Some people are seeing Keffals as changing, that's their decision, but I personally am still skeptical. And now, from my perspective, I'm looking at this now, and I'm like, okay, this seems like old Keffals coming through again, from what I can see. So I think that kind of skepticism is probably still warranted. And yeah, if you're someone who, I saw people in chat yesterday going, oh, Keffals has changed, Keffals is based now, and it's like, yeah, she says things that are based and are funny, and I like some of the things she says, but that doesn't mean that you've got a totality of change that I would be comfortable with to go, that person's changed, that person is different now, I don't know if I said this, I think I might have said this yesterday, but like, to me, genuine change would be to go, right, let's actually talk about the 100K. Here's the accounting of it. Here's what happened, warts and all. Even if you did do bad things, you took it and to own up to that and go, yeah, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. Or to show the documents to show what happened with it. Good. Okay. Having some sort of like accounting of the Kiwi Farm stuff and what your thoughts are about that. And talking about the fact that now and they're plagued with issues ongoing to this day, right? Like, there's lots of things I think that are important when you've done something wrong to like actually take account for it. Like, we're not talking about saying some edgy shit and having to apologize. We're talking about, like, to me, like substantive things that have happened that go beyond just saying some stupid edgy shit or whatever. Like, this is pretty major stuff as far as it goes. But I just don't think we're ever going to get that. I will always probably then just remain skeptical of Keffals' motives and what's going on. I'm not going to like sit here and like lose my mind over it and be like, oh my God, there was the time that they did this and the time that they did that and blah, 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 blah. You make yourself go mental with that perspective. But at the very least, that's kind of how I look at it. If they do change and they do things to move forward further, great. But for me, it just seems like they're still the same person who is using things that have happened to them, which I can't even verify whether they're true or not, to, you know, slither away from certain drama. And on top of that as well, in this stream, they have said things that undermine things they've said before and shown that they've lied before about stuff. So, you know, it creates more tanglement of lies that are difficult to kind of see through, right? I don't know. That's my basic take on
And
all this.
now when I turn off the stream, I can also be myself. And the people around me love and appreciate me for it. They don't think I'm wrong or broken. They don't think I need to be fixed. They don't think I need to fundamentally change who I am. And things are good for it. It's been really hard kind of trying to relearn what that's like, being your own person.
I'm just glad that Xandal's getting fucked up because it's funny.
Oh yeah, so some of the YouTube chat reminds me of why I became a workaholic too, to get away from a toxic family. When I was in rehab, there was like two things that people said, like the hardest addictions to quit was nicotine and being a workaholic. Like people could like quit doing crack, meth, heroin, whatever, and they would still be chain smoking, and people could be completely straight edge, but they couldn't just stop being on the Sigma grind set. And honestly, like incredibly relatable. Especially in like the content grind, I constantly feel like everything's moving so fast. I need to like make sure I'm on topic with the current trends, and I'm releasing the content on time to maximize how many views I can get in the current trend, and it's exhausting. But what's been cool recently is that the content that I've been putting out is completely unique, not based on any trends, and I've seen the highest viewership I ever have as a result of it because I'm actually producing something unique.
Okay. Anyway, I think that, you know, that's as far as my interest in this. I think that's it, really. I think yeah. I think I've heard enough. Yeah, I guess we'll see what Xanderhall brings to the table. Oh, by the way, I've heard a little rumor on the grapevine. I've heard little twitterings out there. It wasn't on Twitter, actually. It was just... Anyway, apparently, allegedly, Cherry, not Cherry, Xanderhall's editor, close personal friend of Xanderhall, from what I understand, there are rumblings that they're going to release their DMs with Keffals, warts and all. And maybe this has been publicly said. I don't actually know. Cherry's got me blocked on Twitter, so maybe you've seen this. Who knows? But anyway, I received communication informing me on the grapevine that apparently Cherry has got these DMs to fucking nuke Keffals. So this may not be over yet. We will see. We will see. In fact, I forgot about that earlier because I was saying that Xanderhall's fucked. But if Cherry can drop a nuke on Keffals, it's scorched earth. That's going to be that is going to be fucking scorched earth. Oh my god, it's going to be scorched. I love scorched earth. Let's go, bro. Lefty streaming space is going to look like fucking Gaza. Okay.